Good afternoon. So today we're going to change the oil and the oil filter on the Citroen Relay camper. The oil filter 27mm and the drain plug 12mm. Some of these do have a normal metal oil filter canister, which you probably need a strap wrench for, but this one doesn't. It's got the plastic one with the filter inside it. I just run the engine for about 10 minutes just to warm it up a little bit before I drain it. The sump plug on these doesn't have a copper washer like normal. It's got a little rubber ring on it, rubber O-ring. So I've got a new plug anyway, so it's about 6 litres of oil in this. I think my tub just about holds 6 litres. That's the new sump drain plug. Drained enough like that now, so stick this back in. Usually you use empty oil tubs to drain the old oil back into. And then at the local recycling facility you can tip them out and then reuse them again. So I've emptied some oil out of my drain tub. So now I'm going to take the filter housing off. There's the old filter inside there. And that's what that looks like. So that's the new oil filter. Should be it. So that's a Bosch 9P9249. So we'll clean the housing up, clean all this old oil out of it, discard the old rubber O-ring that can go. I'm using valve best bedding, as you can see. I just ripped it up to make it into rags. Usually use one of my t-shirts, but I've not got many left, so I'm on bedding now. New O-ring on. So the new filter just sits in there. like that. Just give that a wipe inside. Just put a smear of engine oil on the new O-ring. That goes in there. Oil on my best pants, so I use one of these containers to fill the oil up with, because it's quite difficult to get to. You've not got a great deal of space and you usually end up tipping oil all over the engine, so this makes life much easier. So that's 5 litres gone in now. As you can see, it's part way up the dipstick. It needs a bit more yet. It's 1.5 litres between the bottom and the top marks on that dipstick. So it will need probably not far of another litre. So I've put about 5.5 litres in there now. So I'm just going to start the engine up. Let it run for a second or two. Fill the oil filter up. And then hopefully we can top it back up. Now I've had to, because it's on my ramps and the handbrakes on these are not so good, I've had to leave it in gear to try and stop it rolling off. So we're going to start it up. Check the oil light goes out. There it's gone. Just let it run for a minute. You can see it rolling backwards now off its ramps. That's what happens when you have one of these, because the handbrakes are pretty much useless. I'm going to do a video on adjusting this handbrake at some stage in the next couple of weeks. So that's not far off. 6 litres gone in there now. So I'll leave it overnight and I'll just recheck it in the morning when it's all had a chance to drain off. So that's the oil filter and oil changed. I'm going to change the fuel filter, which is under there. The air filter, which is in here, that's not going to be done till next year, because I only do that every 2 years. And the reason for that is because this van doesn't do very many miles now. It only does about 3,000 miles a year. So it's a good idea just to check that you've no leaks around the oil filter or around your sump drain plug. So one of the things that I do every now and then is I give the gear linkage a spray with grease. I'm not sure it's high enough for me to get underneath here, but the gear linkage is up there. And these tend to seize up, so you can see that cable looks a bit dry. So I'm just going to give it a spray. So I just use a bit of this spray grease. Remove the fuel filter. It's actually much easier if you remove the headlamp first. It gives you a lot more room to get in. So to start with, we'll do this screw here. So as is the case with just about every nut, bolt and screw on this van, this one is seized up, so I've had to get more grips on. Just keep working it loose, put some penetrating oil on it. So what's happened now is that the insert there, that metal insert, which should be fastened into the headlamp, has come out. Perfect. In order to get this off, there is some clips at the back there. Just need to prise them out. So I will now need to repair this. I might drill and tap it and put a bush in maybe. Next thing is to take this panel off here. There should be 2 screws in here, but this one's only got 1. Once you've taken those screws out, you can then lift this up and prise it off. There we go. What's now happened is that that piece of plastic with the clip in has now snapped off. I can see that that's actually been glued on before. And now I've got 2 repairs to do. That I can probably glue back on there a bit better than what it was. The headlamp will be a bit more tricky, but we'll have a look at that once we get it off. So once you've undone those 2 trim panels, there's a bolt there. There should be one there, which is missing. And then there's one here. Simply clipped in there. So the headlamp will pull forward. And we can disconnect the connector. The connector comes off simply by pushing this tab here. Push that inwards and simply pull it off. Now we can see the filter. This one incidentally has got some extra scuttle drain pipes fitted, which I put on a few years ago. I'm just going to clean around the 2 connectors. I'm using a toothbrush and a bit of brake cleaner. And some of these have 2 electrical connectors. There's normally one on the top as well. This one has only got one there at the bottom. So in order to remove the pipes, you push the grey ring on the back inwards towards the filter, and then the pipe should pull out and it will drip a bit of diesel. I've got a rag under there to catch it, and I have some plastic plugs which I insert into the end of the pipe. That stops anything getting inside. You don't want to get any dirt inside the fuel system, because that can cause problems. If it gets into one of the injectors, then you could have a bit of a problem. I've got the second pipe off, and that one's got a plug in. And then you can simply lift the old filter upwards. It should come on out. Once it's on out, lie it down on its side, and we need to remove this metal clip with a screwdriver, prise it out and remove this plug. So it's prised out from there. Obviously we don't want to lose the clip, and it's not easy to do one-handed. There's the clip. Off that comes. And then you pull the connector out like that. As you can see, it can only go back one way. So now, in order to do this correctly, ideally you need this fuel filter removal kit. This is part number 5843. It's a laser tool. It's for Vauxhall, Opels, Citroen, Fiat, Peugeot, Saab, Suzuki and Chevrolet. It consists of an holder for the filter and a spanner to undo the cap, and ideally you need a vise to put it in. So the filter drops in there, something like that. That just holds it still while you undo the cap. First of all, I'm going to clean around the top using my brake cleaner. So in the top of the tool there's an 1/2 inch slot for the ratchet, or in my case a torque wrench, to go in. Just like that. remove the cap. And tip the diesel out. I've got a plastic container here. And the old rubber seal that can be discarded. I'm going to clean around the top of here with the mating surfaces where the seal fits. I'm just going to clean around the cap of the filter. Just giving the nut a clean as well. Particularly don't want any grit in the threads. So once we're happy that everything's nice and clean, we'll start to reassemble. So in the bag with the filter, I have a new O-ring. I'm just going to give it a smear of Vaseline. Stick that on. And the new filter. Apparently it shouldn't be handled with your fingers, it says on this bag, so you need to hold it with the bag, clip it in. Just going to put a little smear of Vaseline around that seal there. There's a rubber seal in there. And that clips on. Goes in there. And this, I don't think you can put this on the wrong way around. I don't think it will. No, it only goes on one way. Oh, that's good. Putting a bit of Vaseline around the thread of the nut. So it's not tightening up dry. Put the nut on. Tightens to 30 Newton meters. And I know that because it says it on the top there. Put the spanner on. Just clicked, so should do. So back at the van. We have our lovely assistant cameraman Valerie. Hi. Fuel filter. The first thing I'm going to do is to connect the wire back up, which goes in there. Make sure it's in the right way. It goes in there, then you get the spring clip. It goes in there. Back on, put the filter back in its position, right way around. I can't really see anything here. I'm just going to give the end of the pipe a wipe. It's a bit of Vaseline around the pipe where it goes into its seal. Push it home. Repeat for the other one. Push that one home. Filters on. Make sure it's right down. I'm going to retrieve my pop towel, which is down there.
Stick up, oh.
Yep, particularly wash. Can be used it with pots.
No, we cannot.
So once you've connected everything up, put the key in, turn the ignition on, listen to the pump. The headlamp won't come on now because I've not put the headlamp back. Switch it off. Switch it on again. Switch it off. Give it a few seconds. Switch it on again. You can hear the pump running in the tank, and that should now force the fuel back into the filter and expel any air. Let's repeat that 4 or 5 times. And when we're happy, we're going to start it up. A little bit of a misfire at first. Let it rev for a minute and then we'll check for any leaks. Around the pipe or around the pipes or the actual housing. Can't see anything leaking, so I think we're good to go. So that's one job done, but now I've created 2 more jobs. So that's the first one. I'm going to glue that back on for now, and then I'll order a new one of those. Headlamp's going to be a bit more tricky. So that bit there should be stuck in the end of the headlight in that hole. So that's a metal insert, so the metal is seized onto the screw, as you can see. So when you try and undo it, instead of the screw coming out of the metal insert, the whole insert has come out of the headlamp. Joy. So the first thing I'm going to do is to saw this off. I don't think I can salvage the insert, it's completely corroded to the screw. So I'm going to saw that off, at least I can then use this. I'll have to come up with an idea. Option B, of course, is to buy a new headlamp. It's a lot of money just for the sake of that. Okay, that's got the old screw out. So I'm measuring that drilling size for an M12 or an M10 tap. So what I'm thinking, tap it M10, make another insert out of a piece of 10mm bolt and drill an hole through it, and then tap it suit the screw, whatever size that was. I'm going to run a 10mm tap into the plastic and put a thread in. So I've tapped it 10mm, and then I'm going to put a bolt in, cut it off to the right length, and then I'm going to drill down the centre and tap it M6. So with the bolt in my trusty woodworking lathe, I'm going to centre drill it 5mm and tap it M6. I've got a new metal insert, I've just screwed a bolt onto it, and then I'm going to put a screwdriver slot in the end of it so that I can screw it in tight. And there is the new metal insert fitted. Okay, back at the van, I'm just going to tap the holes out in the body, particularly this one because it didn't have a screw in here for some reason. I'm going to use a little spanner on here because I can't get a tap wrench in. So back on with the headlight to replace the plug. It can only go on one way because it's got a cutout there. So whenever I replace any bolts on this van, I usually use stainless steel. I don't tend to put the original ones back because they are pretty poor quality, so I'm using these and a bit of anti-seize compound on them. Bit of activator on it. Bit of super glue on that bit. And hold it for 10 seconds. So my little homemade insert seems to have worked a treat. That sorted that. It's all back together. Next job is going to be cabin filter. The first thing you need to do is open the glove box and remove these 3 screws. T25. And when you've undone that, lift it up a bit. Pull that bit off. Like that. So once we've removed the bracket on the glove box lid, that can drop down to the floor. And then there are 8 screws. These are all these screws are T25. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 up there. 8. We've actually got to remove this first, I think. That's it. And then the screw there, and they're 5.5mm. So you'll need 5.5mm socket for those. There's 2 clips at the bottom there, and all your hard work, the filter. And there it is. It's just about due for replacement, I think. So we have this one, blueprint, and it's got a number ADL 142514. So it looks the same size as the old one. Let's put that in. So on the side, the filter, it does have an arrow saying airflow, so presumably it's got to go in the right way around. So looking at the one I've just taken out, come out that way, so airflow appears to be going from inside the van facing towards the front. It's assuming that's fitted right, but it would be logical because all the muck in it is on this side, so that is logical. So it's going in that way. Back in she goes. on. Put 5.5mm screws back in. It's just a case of reassembling it. It's reassembled. Check the blower works. Perfect.